Okay, we are live, guys. Hey, Kathy. Hey, Sheila.
Hey.
Welcome to another Wednesday with the Wednesday Wives. How are you
We
guys
know it's
doing?
been
I
a
know
while.
Sheila's been feeling under the weather.
Yeah.
We're gonna try and take it easy on her because I know she's not feeling very good.
Thank you.
I know we've been absent for a week or two, but we are back, and I have a whole schedule of stuff that we are going to talk to you guys about in the next few weeks. But today we wanted to finish up our original topic, which was those 7 truths of being a trucker's wife. So I know we had gone through 4 of those truths the very last time when I hosted the show. So today we're going to finish those, and then we're going to talk about, as I'm sure everybody can see. Okay, Catherine, catch up here. I forgot the comments, guys. I almost forgot the comments. Anyway, hello, Diane. I see you. So I have things in green today, and because May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So we're going to talk a little bit about that after we get through those 7 truths. Hello, Nicole. Thank you for joining us, everybody. So, Kathy, hey.
I'm just waving at everybody like, hello.
So the next truth of hello, Diane from Tennessee. I have a brother-in-law in Tennessee. And I love Tennessee. I think it's beautiful. But the next truth that we were going to talk about was how it says the kids feel it too, out of the article that I pulled up. And
What happened to Sheila?
I'm not sure. Maybe she had to run. And like I said, we're going to kind of give Sheila the benefit of the doubt today, guys, because she is really sick. She has bronchitis and is definitely not feeling good. And I told her if she needed to go, she could go. But anyway, so the kids feel it too. So being in a trucker family is hard on everybody. And, I think sometimes I am, as Sheila said, her internet went down. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
I just got the message. So we'll hope that it comes back, but no worries. So I am very guilty of, I get caught up in my own feelings and I forget that the kids feel it too. And now my kids are older now, but when Ron first came into our lives, hi, Lee from California. I hope you're doing well. When he first moved up here, it was very hard for me to remember that, I wasn't the only one missing him. So that was that. I think she's back. There she is. Okay. Welcome back, Sheila.
My internet disappeared. I don't know what happened.
No worries. So we were just talking about, the kids missing mom and dad too when they're truck drivers, when they're out on the road. And I was just telling Kathy that I was very guilty when Ron first came into our lives of forgetting that they miss him too. Yeah. So that's where we are. And so I guess my question for you guys is, how do you help your kids? How do you help them through those feelings of missing mom or dad or?
Oh, that's kind of hard on me because when Chris got his CDL license, when me and him was still married, and then we divorced, and then he became a truck driver, and then he had the kids, and so he always tells me that he still feels guilty of missing important dates with them. But they haven't, since me and him got back together in 2015 and the kids were pretty much grown. They're like, they're always telling me, "Oh, well, Dad, we just schedule it when you're home." So they haven't really talked to me about how hard it was on them.
Hmm.
So
I'm just going to show a comment here. Nicole said her littles act out the first couple days, and then she said, "I try to give them a lot of love and remind them it's just a couple days." Sheila, how about you? Have you ever had your kids act out or anything like that?
My kids, it was hard on them because my dad drove truck.
Hmm.
So it was like, well, when's he coming home?
Right.
It was always trying to figure out when he was coming home. When I was a kid, my dad missed out on a lot of stuff,
Did he? Yeah.
which my mom tried to make up for when my dad was gone.
Oh, okay.
So one of those examples was there was always, uh, when I was in Girl Scouts, it was always a dad-daughter dance. Well, my mom would take me
Aw.
instead of it being my dad. But
Right.
my friends understood, what was going on. And it can be hard on kids. It really can be.
Yeah.
You just have to. It's like I tell people, trucking's not for everybody, but you got to brace your kids for this is what your dad does or your grandfather does to support your family,
Right.
and you make the best of the time of when they're home.
That's it. Nicole said he's home on the weekends now instead of 3 to 5 weeks at a time. Although I think they act out more now that they see him leave more. So Ron is a regional driver. He is out during the week and home Fridays and sometimes Fridays and all Saturdays. He doesn't work Saturdays. But when he first moved up here, I'm trying to think, he was local and then he went regional. So they were used to him being home every night and then he wasn't. So I know I'm guessing here. I can't speak for my children. I can only hope I'm speaking for my children. But so just bear with me. But I know it was hard on Jacob. Jacob is on the spectrum. And so he was going through, puberty at the time that Ron came into our life. And, the changes in his schedule and Ron's schedule really affected Jacob. Not having that male counterpart to mom around was hard on Jacob. So, I think it's a challenge in general, like having kids when somebody, and this could be said for military families, it could be said for oil field workers, anyone that's away from home for any extended period of time. I was lucky enough, my parents worked at a hospital. My mom was a nurse and my dad was a respiratory therapist. So like, I mean, there were times we had Christmas on a different day because, somebody was always working, but,
Yeah.
that, not a big deal in the scheme of things. And I think right now, I don't know. I just don't know how, like, I know Chloe's going through some difficulties and I wish Ron was here to help with that, but it is what it is. I just deal with it. We get through it because we always have.
right, and all like I've got two kids that's their birthdays this month. One is May 17th. The other one's May 20th.
Oh,
So this weekend, their dad will be home with Mother's Day weekend, and
mhm.
it's also going to have to be a birthday weekend as well to
Right,
celebrate their birthdays.
right.
And
Yeah.
why he's home because he's not when he goes back out Monday or
Did
sorry
you
about
lose?
that phone came in. Um, when he comes back out Monday or Tuesday, I won't see him until August.
Yeah.
So
Let's see.
So this weekend is going to be about, Mother's Day and their birthdays. So fun,
Yeah.
fun.
Diane says when Richard would leave, her son would show his colors and not in a good way. So it seems that kids are tending to act out when mom or dad leave out. So I think one of the best ways is to just, continue to deal with those things is to, give them all the extra love, make sure you're staying in contact with your truck driver, and letting them talk to him or her too. And like I said, I'm the worst because I get caught up in me missing Ron, and then I forget, like, well, maybe Chloe wants to tell him about her day, or how much she hates PSSAs. So,
I'm getting phone calls after phone calls today. It's like, okay, stop with the spam calls.
One of the other truths is that, so this was never really an issue until now. Well, isn't really an issue for us. I shouldn't say that. It says income can go scarce. And we have always had a steady income. Ron gets paid by the hour, so like we don't have to worry about miles driven or loads picked up or anything like that because he's paid by the hour. So like we're lucky that way. Now, is it incredibly challenging with one income and a mortgage and bills? Yes, because I'm not working from the cancer. So that being said, I'm going to turn this one over to Kathy and Sheila because I can't, like, we never worried about money with Ron driving.
I can give you an experience from being a kid with my parents because my dad was an owner operator.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you from that experience that, money was tight sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when, the motor blows in your truck.
Mm-hmm.
Your
Nicole
truck's
is
down for a
posting
month.
about that, Sheila. She's saying her husband's rig is broke down and they're on week 3 of no paycheck.
Yeah. When you're down,
I'm so sorry, Nicole, to hear that.
Truck,
awful.
Your dad's truck is down for a month and you're going, how are we going to pay that bill? Because that bill's going to come in for them to put a new motor in that truck and it's going to be $20,000, $30,000.
Right.
And you're like, okay. So there were times that, we skimped on a lot of stuff. My husband, when he drove over the road, he was a company driver. Yeah, the company pays for stuff, but yet there were times that his checks were very little because he didn't get the miles that he was supposed to get, and and it was like a roller coaster effect. You go up and down with the miles and, on what your paycheck looks like. One
of the challenges for Ron is there's like, there's in season and out of season, I guess. Like sometimes they run his bum off. Like he runs hard and consistently up to 70 hours every week. And then there's other parts of the year that, like they're like, well, you're going to run day runs this day and this day. And then we need you to do some tests. They have him do a lot of safety training and hazmat training because that's what he hauls. So when it's slow, especially in the summer with a lot of vacations and stuff like that, that's when we worry because I'm like, I need you to make sure you get all the hours you can, even if it's, just read slow or something.
It is rough because I mean, with him, he works for a company. He's a company driver, and he does get paid by the miles. And if he doesn't get a whole lot of miles for that week, I pretty well know. When he tells me how many miles he's going to get that week, I know how much the paycheck is roughly going to be around. And it's rough because when he gets them awesome paychecks and all, that's when we pay majority of the bills.
Right.
But with like Nicole, if his truck breaks down, and I'm sitting here going, oh my God, how many days are you down? Because them days gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And with his company, they have started where they're sitting at a shipper receiver. They're there for an hour. Detention pay starts. Yay!
Yeah.
Like the 2 days that we shut down in Wyoming for the blizzard and everything else, he got
Right.
layout. He got paid for that after the first 24 hours. It don't start after for
Okay,
24
I
hours,
see.
but he did get something for it. He gets layover pay. So, but that's not a whole lot. But
Yeah.
it does, to me, it's like, okay, it might pay the water bill. It might pay the smaller bills that we need, we need to get paid. So I just look at it, every little bit helps,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
it does get rough. It does. And I was
Yeah.
like you said, Catherine, there's months where he's running, and he's getting them good paychecks after good paychecks after good paychecks. And then there's months where he's barely making 1,500 miles for that week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's rough.
And just to give our viewers an idea of how much this costs truck drivers, like what it costs to be a truck driver.
And that's
Nicole,
nowadays, yeah.
yeah, she said, yeah, they did 42,000 in the engine the first week he drove it for 3 days. It broke down again, and now it sounds like another $3K. Like,
now you're talking $45,000 right there.
yeah.
Just
So
the motor.
and to not have that steady income, like I'm lucky enough we have a steady income no matter what, because he's paid hourly. And you would be surprised by the number of companies in Pennsylvania that pay hourly. It's kind of impressive to me, but
yeah,
I mean,
and it can
every
be.
company is different. Now I know when he drove over the road, I didn't know him then really. I mean, he drove over the road while we were talking over the phone because we met online, but I didn't really know him. Like, he would drive and drive, I mean, out weeks. I think he was out, I don't even remember. I don't even know. I just know he was out for weeks at a time, and then he would go to his mom's house, and he would, his paychecks were directly deposited into the bank. She had the bank card, and he basically said, do it, pay what you need to pay, because he figured he was living in the truck. What, he didn't need anything. What he needed, he bought, and the rest was for whatever his mom needed. And then he met me, and he's not over the road anymore. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And it can be hard,
I mean, it's
like
hard now even.
break down,
Because
you break down and they're going to pay you. If they pay you breakdown pay. Now, my husband, before he quit over the road, his truck, he was home for his vacation for 2 weeks. Truck broke down.
Mm-hmm.
No sooner had luckily he hadn't gone very far. Truck was in the shop for 10 days.
Ooh.
The company only pays us $100 a day for breakdown pay. I go, and that didn't start until I think day 2. And I went, well, that's not going to go very far.
Yeah.
So
mm-hmm.
You do what you can, and you hope they don't break down, and you hope that, they're getting the miles, and you're hoping you're going, nobody wants to live paycheck to paycheck, but in this industry, sometimes you end up living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, my favorite saying is, if the wheels ain't turning, you ain't making no money.
That's what Ron always says.
Yep.
And Nicole said, getting paid by the load is great, but our company doesn't do breakdown pay or anything. Yeah, so that's the same for me, Nicole. Ron doesn't get any, layover pay. He doesn't get any detention pay. He doesn't get any, excuse me, any of that stuff. Now I know there's a company around the corner that pays by a percentage of each load. Hello, Chuck. Chuck says, "What up, Diva truckers?" I just thought that was really
Chuck.
cute. Hey, Chuck.
Hey,
Sorry, I got the comments got away from you guys. I apologize for that. So Dawn said, I have an owner operator and had a motor go out and it cost roughly $35,000 to get a new one. Holy smokes. That's insane. Yeah. And she said the same thing. There are weeks that I don't have to worry about money and then weeks that I have to figure out how to pay bills. So yeah, income it can be hard. And, I think a lot of us are probably in the same boat in that. When you think about, Ron, for example, yeah, he gets paid hourly, right? But he's capped off at 70 hours. When you think about it, so he can get overtime and he gets overtime. He makes, like, I'll tell you guys, Ron makes good money. Not going to lie. It doesn't go far when you have like I said, you have a mortgage and water and electric and kids and dogs. The plan was not for me to be off from work. So we used to be a 2-income household and we were comfortable. We went on vacations and then, cancer, right? So he'll only ever make so much because of that 70-hour cap. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So anyway, even though he's hourly and makes really good money, he'll never make over that. You know what I mean? So I want to move on to the next topic. So I have it on my phone. Sorry, guys. The last the last truth about being a trucker's wife is the independence. And I'm going to guarantee that looks very different for every single one of us and all of those that are watching. I had to learn to be independent. Not going to lie. I was needy and I didn't understand, Ron's first words when he moved up here was like, "You're never going to make it as a trucker's wife." And I said, "Watch this." And that was 8.5 years ago. So I win. But that's not to say there haven't been heated arguments and there haven't been, just go get in your truck and go, just go, like that kind of stuff, because I had to learn. I didn't know anything about trucking. I don't come from a trucking driving family. I don't, mad respect before I was with my trucker, but because I always figured they were bigger than me and could squish me like a bug. But independence was a hard pill to swallow. I did not want to be in charge of the bills. I did not want to raise my children semi-alone. I did not like going to bed by myself, like all those things, right? And those are hard truths. Those are the hard truths. And Nicole says she does not miss my husband snoring. I mean, we all have those, okay?
Yeah.
We all have those idiosyncrasies that we do not miss. I do not miss his stinky socks. Ron is obsessed with socks, like you would not believe. Like, dude. I would go barefoot all year long if I didn't live in Pennsylvania, but I don't. I do live in Pennsylvania. So
yeah.
How about you guys? How does the independence look for you guys? Does it bother you to be independent?
Well, when me and him was first married, I was very needy. We got divorced. I had to learn how to live on my own. So I got my independence back. And when me and him got back together, I told him that I was not going to give my independence up for anybody. But it's rough. It's it's rough. I've been on the road with him since January and came home, and you know, and I'm all over the bed, and it's like, ain't you supposed to be on the other side of that bed? But I don't think he misses me at all in the bed because he says I karate chop him in the nose and try to break his nose. So I don't think he misses me on that part, but I know he misses me. But it's like I don't know what it is. It's just I cannot stay on one side of the bed. I am all over the bed, and I'm constantly moving.
Yeah, same. I do not like. I don't like. I don't like sharing my bed now.
When we stayed in motel rooms, then there was 2 beds. He slept on one bed. I slept on another bed.
So
because I karate chopped him.
This is something I have done, Nicole. I often will do this. I'll just make executive decisions and not, without consulting him. I mean, I don't know if anyone else is guilty of that. I know I am.
I've done it.
Yeah.
And he's done it.
Well, and sometimes, especially in the moment, that for me, I'm not going to stop what I'm doing just to make a phone call. Now, there's other times when it's a big deal. I'll call him and I'll be like, okay, so I have whatever on the other line. I need you on the phone to hear this. But for the most part, I try to do things without him as much as possible because I think now for me, I'm going to talk on Ron's behalf. He likes that I'm independent and I can do things without him.
Mm-hmm.
Not that he doesn't love me. I mean, he loves me. I think he likes that I'm independent and I don't have to be on the phone with him. Except then when I don't call him, he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm doing housework or I'm doing laundry."
Yep. I get that. This past Monday, I ordered a washer and dryer. And I told the people that ordered to deliver on May 9th. He gets a phone call Monday because it's underneath his name. So he called him. We're on the way to deliver your washer and dryer. And he contacts me and I was like, did you say May 9th or did you say today? May 9th. And so they got it mixed up and was trying to bring me my washer and dryer Monday. But thank goodness we stopped it and it's going to be delivered May 9th. But in a way, I'm kind of glad that it's in his name. That way he stopped it before it got here. Because I'd have been like, what am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to put you? Because I can't take out my old washer and dryer. So let's see.
Nicole said when she doesn't ask or consult him, it makes him feel like less of a man. I wonder if that's something, right? So she said sometimes it hurts their pride. And I think that's a very true statement. When Ron first moved up here, he couldn't get, with the amount of experience that man had, and he couldn't get a job. I don't know what the problem was, but he did eventually get hired. But anyway, I was working full time as a business analyst. I was a project manager for IT at one of the health systems in the area. And did it burn him that I was making the money and he wasn't. I mean, and now you have to remember my guy's from Kentucky. But I think I'm just trying to think of examples. I know when he's home, I don't like my routine interrupted because I'm like, okay, but this is what I do every day. This is my routine. You're messing it up. Stop. And
yeah.
Nicole, Nicole's making me chuckle. She said they feel like they are the breadwinners. My hubby's from Tennessee. See, yeah, my brother-in-law lives there, and he's the same as my fiance. So, but like I love him, and I love him. Like I love my guy to pieces. But dude, like this is just sit your bum down and let me do my thing. And this is what we have planned this weekend. And yes, you're going. And you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, I get it because I have Fridays. He knows it's grocery day. I go buy groceries. So if he comes in early enough, I tell him when I go pick him up, I guess it's your lucky day because now you get to go buy groceries with me. And I'm not putting it off till tomorrow. We're going now. Okay. So,
I tell Ron he has to stay home. He's not allowed to go grocery shopping with me.
oh, he loves going with me because then he stops me from buying extra stuff.
Oh no, that's why Ron doesn't go. I will spend twice as much if Ron is along with me.
Yeah.
Mine's less.
Hey, Sheila. Is that how your guy is too?
Yeah. And with me being sick, he went grocery shopping on Sunday, and I was like laying in bed going, was this a wise choice? Did I make the right call? And then he called me and he's like, they don't have the medicine you want. Do you want this or do you want that? And I'm like, really? Okay, give me this. And, luckily he went by the list, but there are times that I can make a list and I'll go by the list, and the next thing I know, there's a few other things added in there, and I'm like, where did that come from? It's like, seriously.
Now, if he goes by himself, which he's done when I was on the road with him, we would stop at Walmart's and I would give him a list. And it seems like when it's him by himself, it's okay for him to get the extra stuff.
Uh-huh.
But don't let me get the extra stuff.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my advantage when he's not at home. It's because when I can always get the stuff when he's not home.
Uh-huh.
And then he doesn't know about it.
Yeah.
Dawn says she misses her late husband because they worked together to build a future, but since he passed away, it has been a struggle because they did make decisions together, and since he passed, I have had to do it on my own. I can't imagine how hard that is for you, Dawn. I'm so sorry that you're having to do that by yourself, and to continue being independent without him has to be a real struggle. And Nicole says, my honey goes by himself with the girls. We have all girls. Oh my. Something tells me they're probably very spoiled, and he spends a ton. Yeah, I mean, I think, there's, for me, I'm just going to talk from my perspective, and then I want you each to give your own opinion on this. But being a trucker's wife has its, Nicole says, spoiled is an understatement. Being a trucker's wife has its absolute joys for me. I love being able to go with him in the big truck. Like I got to go last week. It was such an escape from reality for me because my reality is cancer. So being able to go just get away from the doctors, from my mom, from everything is just a relief. And even when I didn't have cancer and I got to go with him, it was just so cool to see other places, places I've not ever seen. I hadn't been to Chicago until I went with him. So that is the cool aspect. The sucky aspect is these are our men and our women. And yeah, we miss them, and it's hard. Last night I laid, I'm not going to lie, I will be totally honest. I laid in Ron's arms and I sobbed because I'm struggling with my self-image right now. And I just laid in his arms and I cried and cried and cried. And he left at 2:00 this morning, and he'll be back tomorrow morning. And then I have him till Monday, maybe Tuesday. So, Nicole says she can't go with him yet, but we appreciate each other so much more than we did. So that's my trucker wife plus. How about you, Kathy or Sheila? Sheila, I see a kitty cat.
That's my nurse right there. That
Oh.
when I'm not feeling good, he like cuddles next to me and like has to make sure I'm okay.
What's your take on being a trucker's wife?
It's hard. It really is. I grew up in a trucking family. I know what it's like. It is hard, but you get to, you can't wait for them to come home. And then after they've been home for a while, you're like, okay, it's time for you to go. I need my independence back. I'm fine. It's like, I can do this. I always made a honey-do list for him for stuff to do when he came home. So he would do that list. And he'd be like, is there anything else? Nope. But when I did get to go, it was nice to be able to go out, get away from everything. Like you said, Catherine, just put everything behind you and not have to worry about anything and see different parts of the country, that you had never seen before.
Right.
So it can be, it's kind of like energizing is what it is, I think.
Yep.
It really is. Yeah. I know this week, he's only gone until Friday or Saturday, then he'll be home. But, like I said, when he leaves out Monday or Tuesday, I won't see him until August. And so that's going to be really rough on me. He keeps on saying, well, if I get close enough, I'm like, you're doing all 48 states now.
It's a little different.
You ain't coming nowhere near me anytime soon until August.
That's right.
But, I miss him like crazy. And, when he's home, yeah, I kind of have a honey-do list for him, but most of the time it goes out the window because I just want to spend time with him. And, it seems like this weekend seems like there's going to be a whole lot of running around and, and I know the time goes by fast, and that's the hard part for me because it seems like it just goes by so fast.
Right.
And then they're gone. And, I've got my kids, I got my doggies, but I miss him. Even though he's only going to be gone for a week now, it's like I miss him.
Yeah.
And so it does get rough.
It does. I just wanted to share this. So Nicole got me all choked up over here in Pennsylvania. I'm just going to share this because it meant a lot to me. So thank you, Nicole. She said, Catherine, you're beautiful no matter what. I just recently shaved my head to teach my girls that looks do not define you as a person. Yeah, that's amazing. You're amazing.
That's amazing.
First off, you are amazing, Nicole. And that is such an incredible way to teach your children what actually does matter, and that beauty is only can be skin deep, or it can be who you are as a person. What's inside. So thank you for that. And that really, I'm like getting all teary, and because I've really struggled. This was not supposed to be a topic. But thank you for that.
Catherine, we all go through our own struggles with the way we look,
So, it kind of ties in with this month being Mental Health Awareness Month. So thank you, Nicole, for bringing this up,
Yeah.
So
yes.
So that ties in. Okay, so our next topic was going to be, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And we want to break the stigma of mental health illnesses because they do have a bad rep. Let's be honest, they have a bad rep. And this is an example of stigmas. Okay. My son is an Asperger's kid. He's high functioning autistic. And I was told he was not autistic enough for services, and he was suspended 7 times, and 9 times in one school year suspended because he was a bad kid. Like, he's not a bad kid, he's an autistic kid, and if you would learn to teach if you would learn about him, you would know what to do. He likes pressure, he likes tangential things, he doesn't like commotion. It's too much for him. He breaks down. Like, so that's some of the stigmas that have affected my family. Kathy, how about you? Have you encountered stigmas for mental health?
Yeah. Mine's been about my weight. You know, Chris's brother, stood right there in front of me and called me fat, called me stupid. My sister has done it so many times. And I guess I just close myself in and just don't go anywhere and do anything because, I feel like when I go to Walmart's and that people look at me and I know they're not, but that's how it's making me feel. And so it's a lot, and it can get to you.
Yeah.
Depression sucks.
It does. Sheila, how about you?
Yeah, because my ex-husband used to tell me I was nothing, but I was worthless and a piece of crap, and I would never amount to anything. And after a while, you start to believe it until you find somebody that changes your point of view, that you're not worthless and you will amount to something. It can be hard. It really can be.
Yeah, Nicole said, I have been on mental health medication since 4th grade. I'm almost 36. My honey went through a really rough patch here recently, and he finally got help, but he had refused before because of the medication stigma out there. That is a very true statement. So Ron, I'm going to talk about Ron. After his real dad passed away from brain cancer, which, by the way, May is also Brain Cancer Awareness Month. Who knew? So, hi, Patricia. But when his dad died, he went into such a bad depression, he cut off his whole family. And he just basically lived out of his truck. And finally, his friends got together, and his dispatcher, who was also his boss, pulled him back in, and they made him go to a doctor. And he was afraid that if he was on medication, that people would think there was something wrong with him, or that he wouldn't be able to be a truck driver, or whatever the case may be. I suffer from generalized anxiety disorder and depression, just so you guys know. And I'm very honest about it because this is good. Today's a good day. But I was also working on the show at 11 o'clock, making sure I had everything in order. And because when I'm not organized, I panic.
Right. I'm antidepressant and anxiety. I will have anxiety attacks, panic attacks, and it's not fun. And a lot of times my panic attacks happens in the middle of the night.
Oh, okay.
And Chris gets on to me all the time because he's like, "Why don't you call me?" And I'm like, "You got to sleep because you got to get up and drive." So I get up and, it's hard for me to breathe and, and I'm trying to calm the breathing down. So I just like, okay, you're just going to sit here and watch TV, or you're going to find a movie, you're going to sit here and you're going to watch it, and you're just going to calm down. And, sometimes I can go back to sleep doing that. Sometimes I'm up for hours.
Yeah.
And because when I try to lay down, my brain just does not want to shut off. And So it's rough.
Nicole, I don't want to share your illnesses unless you give me permission, honey. So I want to share her comments, but I want to make sure it's okay with her first. I wonder, like, do you guys? So, so okay. Thank you, Nicole. So Nicole said she's major, that I should say depressive disorder, generalized anxiety, borderline bipolar 2 with horrible insomnia. Oh, insomnia. So, yeah. Since being diagnosed with the cancer, like, insomnia is a real thing, first of all. Fatigue is a real thing, second of all. And there are days where, like, the thought of going to the store is like the worst thing in the world. Like, do I actually have to talk to people? They have upped my antidepressant. They're like, do you have a therapist? I'm like, yes. You know, my anxiety has been well controlled. So, and my antidepressants actually work a little too well. Like, there's times that I can't actually cry because I'm like, I can't even make tears. Which, when you want to cry, sucks. So,
I started crying at odd times.
do you?
Yes, for some reason, somebody could just say something, and I just start, and I'm like, "Why are you crying? They didn't say anything for you to be crying." But it'll start.
So we have a Facebook user that says hi, 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 but I'm not sure who you are. So if you just want to let us know. I think, I don't know, like, I don't have a family history of mental health. Hey, TJ. I was like, oh no.
It could be several people.
Right. And then, you know, like, mental illness, I think too goes, like, my dad has, sorry, I'm trying to get my sweater pulled down so I can sit on it because I'm cold. I'm very cold right now because Pennsylvania. So anyway, you know, it's not just anxiety and depression and bipolar or schizophrenic or all those things, but then, you know, then there's my dad who has vascular dementia. And watching my dad decline was like one of the hardest things for me. I grieved over that for weeks. My dad is an incredibly smart man, was an incredibly smart man until dementia got a hold of him. And like, we would be in the car as kids and we'd be driving down the road and he would see something and he'd say, "Hey, do you know what happened on this day in 1942? And I'd be like, no, pretty sure I don't. So, you know, seeing that him going from that to needing 24-hour care by my mom is incredibly challenging. And sorry, there's another comment I want to share in just a second. I will get to you, Brian. But it has been really hard. You know, it's not just, you know, the anxiety and depressions of the world, but, you know, there's dementia and, you know, mental health in the elderly too. So, and, you know, I know there's a 10-year age gap between my mom and my dad. And so she's his primary caregiver, and she's in retirement and she's, you know, fine, and she has to take care of my dad and she gets mad. So yeah. And Nicole said mental health is so important. After working in a prison for 10 years, I've seen so many that are untreated, and so I'm like the cheerleader of getting help. I love you already, Nicole. I mean, that's just a bonus. I feel like, you know, people are afraid that if they get a mental illness, it's almost like getting a name tag on your forehead. I have mental illness. Look at me. And everybody's going to go, oh. And it's not like that anymore, guys. People, I mean, my experience, I mean, now this is since Jacob's been in school, but people want to help, or, oh, I didn't know you struggled with that. Like just recently I had an encounter where someone was like, oh my gosh, you handle it really well. I don't handle anything really well. Okay. Let's see. So what about you, Sheila?
I think a lot of times, I think we've seen more and more in the last 2 years since COVID started, that the mental health of people has declined so badly. Because nobody was going anywhere. They were staying home. Everybody was afraid to go anywhere.
Right.
Everybody was afraid to do anything, and it's like you worry about your friends or your neighbor, what they're going through, because you don't talk to them. Nobody's talked to anybody in so long, and you don't know how anybody's feeling or how they're doing.
Right. Just for laughs and giggles, guys, may the 4th be with you all. For all our Star Wars groupies out there. Thank you for the reminder, Brian. I almost forgot.
Yep, I almost forgot as well.
My son, so that's one of the things with my son and his Asperger's, right? He knows things about specific things. Those specific things are Star Wars and World War II. Anything World War II. And he's a little bit like my dad. He's like, Mom, did you know? And then I get this dissertation about tanks in World War II. So TJ said that mental health issues seem to plague the trucking industry, with spouses at home and then being alone on the truck. And then also she brought up this good point. Admitting depression can be embarrassing for men, especially for men.
Yeah, it can be, because they don't, their image is, I'm this big bad truck driver, but yet I'm depressed, but I'm not going to let it show, because I don't want somebody to think that I'm just a big baby or that I'm nothing, That's exactly, that's
less of a man.
Yep. That's it. Exactly.
That's it. So, and then, and I don't know so, Ron's brother, excuse me. So actually Nicole brought up you guys are speaking before I can talk. Nicole said men are conditioned to not have feelings because it makes them look weak. And that is absolutely true. Ron's brother actually had an incident where someone who was suicidal jumped in front of his truck and he killed him.
Ooh.
He wouldn't get back in a truck for almost a decade. It affected him so bad. And, but he didn't want to go and talk to a therapist. He didn't want it because he's that guy from the backwoods in the holler. So, they definitely don't want to be looked at as they're, weak or less than. But I wanted to actually share. So I wanted to share some statistics with y'all. Ron's got me saying y'all. One in 5
Southern
Americans. I know, right? He's like, I told him that. I was like, you'll be Southern yet, and he's like, no, dear. But I'm trying, guys. Okay. So 1 in 5 Americans have a mental health illness. So 12.8 million adults live with a severe mental illness. That's a lot of people, guys.
Yeah,
that's
it is a lot.
48.1 million adults live with anxiety disorders. Straight up, all the time, every day. 17.1 million adults live with major depression. 10 million adults live with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. that was my son's very first diagnosis, was ADHD.
Mine too. My oldest one.
Really?
My middle one.
Kind of ADHD-ish. And he's almost 35.
They try to say my middle one was that way.
Yeah. I mean, we went through stages. Like, we went ADHD, oppositional defiance, intermittent explosive disorder. Then it was me and my parenting. And then somebody said, "Oh, did anybody ever mention Asperger's?" And I said, no. So that's how we got to Asperger's.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh, and Nicole said, "Oh, yeah, I'm ADHD too, LOL." Let's see, what else? There's 9.1 million adults living with post-traumatic stress disorder. Has anyone suffered from that?
What was it again?
Post-traumatic
PTSD.
PTSD. I have. It sucks.
I think I kind of do after Hurricane Michael, because anytime bad weather comes, I cringe up and when I hide.
Yeah,
I kind of did with my ex. It kind of,
same. Same.
And, every once in a while, it's not as bad now, but I still get, little images and stuff of, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Chris liked me too much when we went through snowstorms or bad weather, and the truck was starting to rock, and and I'm starting to freak out a little bit, and I'm asking him, "Is this truck gonna flip? Is this truck gonna flip?"
Nope,
No, baby, it's fine. And I'm like,
I had PTSD from being assaulted by my ex-husband. So, and it took me 2 years to get past it. Lots of crying, lots of denial, lots of depression. So yeah, it's a really hard thing to overcome. And Nicole, I'll be praying for your husband. So Brian shared this: 46 plus ADHD with Ritalin during 3rd through 7th grades, if I recall. Yep, we did Ritalin.
My son did Adderall.
We did that too. Then we did a patch. Anyway, 7.1 million adults live with bipolar disorder. And I know Nicole talked about that a little bit. 3.5 million adults live with borderline personality disorder, a condition characterized by difficulty regulating emotions and instability in behavior, self-image, and functioning, impulsive actions, and unstable relationships. I think they just described my life. That's a little disturbing. Okay, moving on. 1.6 million adults live with schizophrenia. And, I think it was TJ said it earlier. She said, "I'm betting not even a quarter of those 12 million people are getting help." And I believe that's probably true for any one of those groups of people. I mean, how many people don't have insurance? And how many places don't, so I'm on Medicaid. It's incredibly hard to find people that, accept Medicaid. And then, do you need a psychiatrist or a psychologist? There's so many, forks and decisions, and there's.
And I'm going to be posting some stuff in the Divas page that, essential oils can help support people with, your son, having Asperger's, or somebody with ADHD, or, I have a gal that her son is autistic, and he started using a blend. It's called Monster Juice. And he rolled it on, and his teacher asked what she's done differently at home, because he was a totally different kid.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I was on speed dial at the school, I think. Pretty sure.
And so she told him, and so anytime he felt like he was having a meltdown, He had a roller bottle with him. He put it on the bottom of his feet, put it on his wrists so that he could smell it throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would calm back down, so.
And before we close the show, guys, I know we're running close on 2:00 here, but well, 2:00 in Pennsylvania. But anyway, I just wanted to very quickly talk about mental health and suicide. Please be vigilant with your loved ones. I'm just going to really quickly read off these suicide warning signs. We're going through some challenges with my daughter right now, and it's really scary to think of the words that came out of her mouth. And so we are working through that, but talking about wanting to die or to kill themselves, we've heard that. Looking for a way to kill themselves, like searching online or buying a gun. Talking about feeling hopeless or having no reason to live. Talking about feeling trapped or in unbearable pain. Talking about being a burden to others. Increasing the use of alcohol or drugs. Acting anxious or agitated, behaving recklessly, sleeping too little or too much, withdrawing or isolating themselves, showing rage or talking about seeking revenge, and extreme mood swings. There is a number, and I'm going to post that in the Divas page and the trucker safety information page, I think, as long as Angie will let me, because I feel like it's really important to have the, suicide prevention lifeline is the website. There's an 800 number, 1-800-273-TALK. And you can also text, Nicole brought this up, you can also text the suicide hotline if you're too anxious to call. So, just be vigilant and try to, even if they say no, like Chloe says, I didn't mean it, Mom. It's not real. I was just saying that. Follow through, because we don't know that. It's scary. And we are working on a family meeting between me, my ex-husband, Ron, and Justin's girlfriend and Chloe, so that we can talk through some of the things that she's been saying. It's a very scary time right now, but we're trying to address it the best way we know how. So if there's one thing to be said, like, I don't know what I'm doing as a mom. Okay.
It comes to you.
I go.
It will come to you. It really will. It will come to you. And, you guys being there for her is the biggest part. Knowing that she's not alone.
Yeah, I know. It's super scary to me. And then, I just know, because I have my own mental health illnesses, it's challenging, I guess, and scary. So Nicole said, you ladies are all beautiful. Prayers and good vibes to the universe or whoever you pray to. Y'all got this. Thank you, Nicole. You're sweet. Thank you, Mike, for joining us. He said, you ladies have a good day. Sheila, TJ asked how...
Where'd it go?
Sheila, TJ asked how oils can help. Please explain the correlation. I don't want to go too much longer because it's already like I said, we've been on for an hour.
I'll put it in a post.
I was going to say, maybe put it in a post or reach out to her directly, because I know oils have helped. Like my mom's one friend gave me oil for my scars, and my scars are doing better.
I gave you stuff for your burns.
And then Brian said to all the mothers, great and small, to have a blessed Mother's Day on Sunday. Thank you, Brian. That's very
sweet. Thank you.
Dawn said the same. Before I forget, I want to wish all the moms watching happy Mother's Day to all of y'all. So thank you, everybody, for joining us today. I hope you have a really great and blessed week. Enjoy the weekend with your moms if you're able to spend it with them. If not, I hope that someday you will, or soon you will get to. But we are going to sign off for now, and we will see you here next week. Next week, we are talking
relationship goals.
Thank you, Sheila. I knew she was going to know it. I knew she was going to know it. So we're going to talk about relationship goals, guys. Fun stuff. But all right, you all have a great week. Thank you for joining. Bye.
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 And broadcast.